There was a time in America when one job was enough. You worked 40 hours a week, went home, paid your bills, saved a little, and still had energy left to live your life. Weekends were for rest. Evenings were for family. Hustling was optional, not required. Today, that idea sounds almost fictional. Now, millions of Americans finish their full-time job and then open another app, another shift, another gig, another hustle. This video isn't about judging that choice. It's about asking a simple question. Why did side hustles become normal in the richest country on earth? Chapter 1. The myth of extra money. Side hustles are often marketed as a choice. Just a little extra cash. Turn your free time into income. Be your own boss. But for many Americans, side hustles aren't extra. They're essential. They don't start a second job to get rich. They start one to stay afloat. Groceries, rent, insurance, transportation. These costs don't wait for payday. And when a single paycheck can't keep up, people adapt. Side hustles didn't rise because Americans suddenly became greedy. They rose because stability quietly disappeared. Chapter 2. Wages that stopped moving. Here's something rarely talked about honestly. Productivity in America has gone up dramatically over the past decades. Workers produce more than ever before. Technology made everything faster and more efficient. But wages didn't follow. For many workers, paychecks barely changed while living costs kept climbing. Rent increased. Healthcare costs exploded. Education became a lifelong debt. So when income stays flat but expenses rise, people do the only thing they can do. They add another income stream. Not because they want to hustle, but because standing still means falling behind. Chapter 3. Side hustles as survival. For a growing number of Americans, side hustles aren't about ambition. They're about survival. Driving at night after a full day of work. Selling items online just to cover a bill. Freelancing on weekends instead of resting. This isn't hustle culture as motivation posters describe it. This is quiet desperation disguised as productivity. And the most dangerous part? It slowly becomes normal. Chapter 4. When rest becomes a luxury, rest used to be part of life. Now, rest feels like something you have to earn. Many Americans feel guilty for doing nothing. If they're not working, they feel like they're wasting time. Side hustles blur the line between work and life. Your phone becomes your office. Your free time becomes unused potential. And when everything becomes monetized, exhaustion isn't a side effect. It's the system working as designed. Chapter 5. The psychological cost. This constant hustle doesn't just affect wallets, it affects mental health. Living paycheck to paycheck creates permanent stress. Adding more work removes recovery time. People don't burn out because they're weak. They burn out because the system doesn't allow rest. And when someone finally collapses, the narrative blames the individual, not the conditions that push them there. Chapter 6. The illusion of freedom. Side hustles are often sold as freedom. Flexible hours, no boss, total control. But freedom without security is fragile. If missing 1 week of work creates panic, that's not freedom. That's vulnerability. Many Americans aren't building businesses. They're patching holes in a sinking ship. Chapter 7. Why this isn't just about money. Side hustles changed how Americans see themselves. Worth becomes tied to productivity. Rest feels irresponsible. Saying, "I'm tired," feels like failure. When survival depends on constant output, identity shifts. People stop asking, "Am I happy?" They start asking, "Am I earning enough?" Chapter 8. Comparison and pressure. Social media adds another layer. Everyone online looks successful. Everyone seems busy. Everyone appears ahead. But most side hustles don't lead to financial freedom. They lead to just enough relief to keep going. And the cycle continues. Chapter 9. Is this sustainable? Here's the uncomfortable question. What happens when an entire society depends on people working non-stop just to survive? What happens when rest, health, and relationships are constantly sacrificed? Side hustles may solve short-term problems, but long-term, they raise serious questions about the system itself. Chapter 10. Not a judgment, a reality. This video isn't saying side hustles are bad. For many people, they're necessary. For some, they're empowering. But pretending this trend is purely about ambition ignores reality. Side hustles didn't explode because Americans wanted more. They exploded because many had no other option. Ending. A question for you. So here's the real question. If a full-time job can no longer support a basic life, is the problem a lack of hustle? Or is it something deeper? That's not a question this video answers. It's a question America is still avoiding.